You're one of the co-founders, the original four co-founders of the Lekker Network, along with Nick and Renier and Madeline. Can you tell me about that, the background of them approaching you to join the founders team?
I don't think many people know the story, but I'll give you the real background, which is kind of what happened. So I was in Mauritius a few years ago, and Nick put out a post. I was connected with Nick and knew Nick, and Nick put out a post on LinkedIn about a South African business that was in the UK and was looking for something, right? And I reached out to Nick and I said, I might be able to help. It's an industry that I understand well. Happy to connect with them and just have a conversation, if nothing else. So Nick put me in touch with that person, and I ended up having a conversation. I couldn't help, right? Which I didn't like, but I went back to Nick and I said, like, so sorry, like it's not within my wheelhouse, but it was great to meet the person. Thanks so much for the intro. And Nick said to me, Guy, you won't believe that I've had like over 100 people reach out about this post. Like South Africans just want to help South Africans. So, and support South Africans. So I said, like tongue in cheek, I said, well, Nick, why don't you start a network? So we both like laughed it off, right? And he phoned me 2 weeks later and he said, Guy, I've been thinking about this, like I actually want to put out a post on LinkedIn to see if I should start a network, right? Because it's just so much power and people are still messaging me and like from one post. So I said, well, go for it. Like put it out, and see what people say. And he put out that post that went viral, right? That said, should we start a network that connects South Africans around the world? We didn't even have a name for it at the time. Nick and I were talking about the name like Ubuntu Network, and we had all names that we were exploring, and that post went viral. And then Nick and I tried to like do something with it over the next few months and put out a few. I had like 0 LinkedIn followers, but Nick had quite a following. So he carried on posting about it every now and again. It got more traction every time. But I couldn't run it, and I made that clear to Nick, and he couldn't run it. And we had to make a decision to kind of like, we had this amazing concept, an idea that we had, but expansion through connection. How do we make the pie bigger? How do we bring in other people that can actually execute, who are the perfect people to actually go out and roll this out? So Nick had a relationship with Renier and met Renier and Madeline, and because I wasn't in Cape Town, and they hit it off and decided that this was the team to get it done. And then I met Renier and Madeline and came up with the Lekker Network just before Renier and Madeline joined. And then because of Renier and Madeline's background, we rebranded it as it is today with the cool colors, and went through that whole branding exercise. And then just started rolling it out. And the as you say, the rest is history. The story that happened in October, November last year, when we had 200 people sign up just based on a silly concept of South Africans supporting South Africans all over the world, and here we are today, where we're on track to hit 450 members if Paul has his way with it by the end of the month.